Hey y'all, welcome to Happy Healthy Living with Yvonne Douglas. I'm Doug and today we're gonna make a delicious Tex-Mex Mexican pizza, so stay tuned. Okay, so we've been having really cold days. Oh my gosh, really cold, like 12 degrees without the wind chill in Texas. And I wanted something kind of like a little comfort food, but try to make it a little bit healthy. So this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna be using Mission tortillas, but carb balance. Looks like this. This has 0 sugars in it. So it's actually 4 grams net carbs. And that sounds really good. 1 tortilla is about 70 calories. So for this pizza, I'm gonna make it for 1, and we're gonna be using 2 of these. We are gonna cook it in some oil first, and then we're going to make a meat mixture. And we're just basically doing a regular, kind of like a taco seasoning mix we're gonna be adding to it. And this is the mild version. This is Old El Paso. I'm also gonna use Old El Paso red enchilada sauce. And we're gonna use, this is refried beans, but fat-free. So I'm trying my best to try to make it a little bit healthy. And then we're gonna be adding some of these yummy things like onions, yellow onions, peppers. I'm gonna be using the yellow, red and orange. These are the ones that you find in the store. Mini sweet peppers, looks like this. I'm also going to use some Mexican style cheese, but I'm also using some aged sharp cheddar too, that we're going to add a little bit on top of that Mexican pizza. We're also going to add a little bit of pickled jalapenos, just a little bit, and cherry tomatoes, and I believe that's it. So let's start cooking. Okay, so I'm heating up my frying pan. I'm gonna add a little oil to the base. You want it definitely to cover the base because we're gonna be adding our tortillas to it once it's all heated up. So I'm gonna let that heat up a little bit. And remember, we're using the low carb balance tortillas. So this is getting nice and warm. We wanna make sure it's hot enough. And you can see how much I just added to the bottom here. It's just basically to cover the base. All right. Now this is not gonna fit both of them in here, so I'm gonna do one at a time. And just cook it and then flip it over. Make sure you have your indispensable cooking tool. This is the tongs. You have to have tongs in your kitchen. So we're gonna heat that up. And we just wanted to get some color on both sides. Now you might say, Doug, when do you know when to flip it over? Well, if you look really closely, you can see that it's starting to get a little puffy, and that's what you want. Use your tongs, check it out, check out the color. All right, it's getting some color, but I wanted to do it just a little bit more. But once the tortilla kind of puffs up a little bit, that's pretty much when you know it's about time to flip it over. So I can see that the edges are getting a little brown. That tells me to flip it over, and yeah, look at that. Look how beautiful that color is. That's what you want. Okay, so this tortilla is done. Fantastic. I'm gonna add my second one. The second one looks like it's ready to turn. Yep, nice color. And the second one usually goes a little bit faster because the oil is it's heated up more. So, okay, let's see if it's done. Yep, perfect color. Looks good. I'm going to add the onions. Make sure that heat is on low. The pan is very hot. That's okay. Smells good. I'm adding my beef. I like to just crumble it up instead of just adding the whole thing. Okay, got my wooden fork. We're gonna brown our beef mixed in with our onions. It should take a few minutes. Probably about 5 or so, 5 to 7 minutes. The beef should be cooked. I'm going to put up the heat just a little bit now. This is on a medium to low. And when it's almost brown, then we're going to add our taco seasoning mix to it. And we're just going to basically follow the directions on the package for the taco seasoning mix. Okay, so you can see that the beef is almost brown. I'm going to add just a little bit of black pepper to this. And don't forget, with the seasoning mix, we're using taco seasoning mix mild, Old El Paso. And just basically, you're going to be using 3/4 of a cup of water and one package. Just make sure that this is brown before you add your taco seasoning mix to it. It's looking good. It smells great. I'm going to add a touch of garlic powder and just a touch of onion powder, even though it has onions in it. I'm not going to add salt because the other things have salt in it. You could add salt if you wanted to, but I don't think it's necessary. I want to cut down a little bit on my salt intake too, so. All right, that looks good. Now we're going to get our mix. I'm going to add our powder, the taco seasoning, and the 3/4 cup of water. I'm going to give that a nice stir. I'm going to put up the flame a little bit to medium. Okay, we're going to cook. This is going to take it's going to cook a couple of minutes here. You want it to boil. Once it started boiling, we'll reduce the heat. It smells really good. Okay, we're going to reduce the heat, let that cook for just a couple of minutes. Okay, so I have a pizza tray here, and I'm going to get my tortillas. And what I want to do is I'm going to get some refried beans and just add a little bit to the bottom here. If you want to try to smear it on, you can, but you don't want to mess up your tortilla either, so just be careful. And I'm not going to be using a lot of the beans. You could add more beans if you wanted to, but I think this is just going to be enough. Okay? Then I'm going to add some red enchilada sauce. And be careful not to go to the very edge, okay? Because we don't want this spilling out when it's cooking in the oven. Which, by the way, we have the oven on 350 degrees. It has been preheated. I'm going to add my meat mixture. Like that. And you can see you're going to have a lot of meat left over, and that's great. What I'm going to do here, you don't have to do this part, but I'm going to add a little cheese to this, because we're going to put the other tortilla on top of it. So I'm just going to sprinkle just a little bit of cheese there. And I'm going to get the second tortilla, place it on top, press down just slightly. I'm going to add just a little bit of the enchilada sauce on top, just like if it was pizza sauce, tomato sauce, adding it to a pizza. And then we're going to add our cheeses. So I'm going to first add this. This is the Mexican style cheese. And that, of course, is going to melt all on it. And then this is that sharp cheddar cheese that I told you about. So I'm going to add a little bit first. Not all of it, because I'm going to add the orange and red peppers to the top. I'm going to add a few cherry tomatoes to the top. And then I'm going to add just a couple jalapeno. These are pickled jalapenos, and I'm going to add the rest of the cheese. So that cheese is going to, when it melts, it's going to make it all stick together. All right. Okay, looks good. Okay, we're gonna add this. We're gonna add this to our oven, 350 degrees, and just for a few minutes, okay, probably about 5 minutes. Okay, here it is, look at that. It looks so good and it smells so yummy. You wanna cook it really until all the cheese is melted, so 5 to 7 minutes. So we're going to add it to a plate, and we're gonna dress it up just a little bit and then take a bite. Okay, so the way I like to dress up mine is I get a little sour cream in this squeezable bottle, and then I just kind of add a little design. First I have to open it. There we go. Just add a little design here and there. Make it look pretty. Oh, love it. Look at that. So pretty, so yummy. Now let's take a bite. We're gonna cut into this. You can cut it just like a cheese pizza. But I like to use, you can use your fingers, but I like to use a fork and knife. Let's take a little bite. Oh yeah. Okay, that's yummy. Perfect. So we did our best, making it a little bit healthy with the low carb tortillas. We got the vegetables going on, reduced fat cheese, Mexican style cheese, reduced fat beans. Okay, so the sour cream, well, sour cream here has 1 gram of sugar, 1 gram of carbs, and we barely used a tablespoon, so very little sour cream. And the beef and the taco seasoning, but it tastes so good, guys. So if you want something a little bit on the healthy side and it tastes super yummy, and one pizza really could serve, well, one pizza's maybe for one person, at least for me. That might serve 2 people. But you can see, using 1 pound of chopped meat or ground beef, you can see you can make a lot more pizzas too. So thank you so much for joining us on Happy Healthy Living with Yvonne Douglas today. Remember, if you want that homey vibe, you need to subscribe, and please give this video a like. Until next time, my friends, happy healthy living. Bye-bye.